Go.
Warning, the following podcast may incite original thought, culture, self-sufficiency, and smarter conversations. Viewer discretion is advised.
Is advised. If you don't like smarter conversations, then you're in the wrong place. Here we are once again. I guess this will be another episode of Shoot the Shit.
Yeah.
And I'm here with Sandy. I'm here with Mom because I can't say Carmen.
No.
I said it now and I felt so weird. That's my mom. Wait. That's my mom. Professional seamstress. Bobbin lacer. Is that how you would call it? Bobbin lacer? Yeah. And
I think you gotta
there's Sandy. We're right there. And just like me, we are sewing impaired. I guess that would be.
To be fair, I know how to hand stitch. I know how to crochet. I just can't do what she does.
I will teach you.
Not many people can.
No. So I don't feel so bad.
I did one or two things. They came out all right. I bought another pattern and I'm like, this is real nice. Yeah, it looks simple. Guys, just because a pattern looks simple does not mean it isn't. Oh, look who got there. Miguelo.
What's
How
up?
you doing?
Good. Baby, give me a chance, baby. No, sorry. It's
welcome. Doggies are welcome.
It's always going back and forth, you know.
Gotcha.
You know the dogs. Let me close the door 1 second. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You're fine.
I'm gonna continue with the pattern story. I see this pattern, and okay. Let me set the record straight before I say this. I don't wear it myself. Okay, this is for Sandy. I like to make things for her to wear. So I'm infatuated with pinup styles. I absolutely, and from let's say the 1930s to the 1960s, maybe even a little bit before the early 60s. I love the styles, the way the blouses are cut, the way especially the way the dresses and the skirts, everything from the waist down are cut, and the way they just mend to the shape of the woman. It looks flattering, it looks amazing, it looks alluring. I just love that style. So I see a pattern and I'm like, this is similar to another the first skirt that I made for Sandy that was kind of like a pencil dress cut, but at the bottom it had the ruffles within the same material. I can do this. Man, when I opened up that pattern, holy shit, it might as well have been in Russian. And I mean, they should have like a big symbol in the front of the pattern that says beginners, intermediate, hard, and go fuck yourself. that one, it used these words, darts and just, I didn't realize just how much lingo,
jargon,
seamstresses and tailors, and it seems, and eventually hopefully we'll touch on that too, the difference between seamstresses and tailors. I don't think it's just a gender. It could be their work. This is just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But can you talk on that real quick as far as the actual jargon and what we should look for when we're looking at a pattern? Because like I said, I picked up the pattern, I looked at the front, this is amazing, I turned it around, what kind of material do you need? I can buy this material. All right, let's go. Hell no. Mm-mm. That pattern is still laughing at me. I can hear it. It's in the basement. I can hear the fucking laughing.
Yeah, when you're buying a pattern, I haven't bought a pattern in years.
Well, you make your own, right?
And I keep reusing the ones that I bought from New York 30-something years ago.
I
just keep reusing them. Okay. And I'll tell you what I do for the patterns. I don't usually cut up my patterns. Okay, that's the first thing. They usually come in different sizes.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Backtrack about 5 seconds on that one. You don't cut out your patterns, so you leave it on one sheet?
I don't cut them up.
What do you mean by cut them up?
Well,
So you
okay.
follow the line?
Yes, I follow the line, but I don't cut the line.
Got you. So what
So
she's
that
saying is that so let me get this straight. You just trace the pattern, so to speak, on with the scissor. You trace it with the scissor.
yes,
That's
yes.
called fucking cutting.
When I pin it on the material, I pin it on the size that I want. You know, it has like size 10, size 12, size 14. So if I want, say, the 12, which is in the middle, I will pin the pattern onto the material along the line of the size 12.
Quick
Okay.
question. The lines are going, let's say, vertical. Let me put it over here with you. Vertical. Do you pin the same way, tracing the line, or do you pin horizontal to it?
No, you can't pin it horizontally because then when you start to cut, you're going to
It'll
be
be in
cutting
the
into
way.
the pin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you cut it along the line, the contour of the line itself. Okay. So that's what I do. I pin it along the contour of the line that I want. And
Gotcha.
then I pick up, well, I'm over here doing it on the table. I pick up the excess. Okay, like I'll pick up the piece of pattern that's number 14, and I'll
Right.
actually kind of like fold it along the pinning line, and then I start to cut.
Okay.
So this way I don't cut up my pattern, but I cut it out the size that I want.
Well, I'd
And
like for
this
you to
way
tell me real quick what a dart is, what a dart is, but at the same time, can you give us a couple examples, like different things that people who don't know about sewing, we wouldn't know, like a dart. What the hell is a dart?
Isn't a
Okay,
The
dart
purpose of a pleat.
isn't a dart like a cut that you have to make in order to be able to fold it in? It's like is that what a dart is?
yeah, you don't cut it. Well, I don't cut it.
Uh-huh.
What you what you do is you're actually gonna sew. That's actually a line that you're sewing onto
Gotcha.
the garment, say a dress. You're making the dart in the dress on the bust line to give room for the bust.
So it's a folding thing that you
Yes.
sew. Okay, I got it. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
You got it?
So
Let me see.
okay, so let me see
Let
if
me see
I
if I okay.
understood this.
Here, let me show you. Maybe this will work.
Sewing 101.
Okay, here you go. Can you see that?
Yep.
I drew a V.
Oh,
Okay.
now I see it.
Okay, I can
Okay.
vaguely see it. Yes, yes.
That's the V. Okay, that's going to be your dart. You start up here at the edge of the material. Okay. You're going to fold it in half. Okay. You still see the V here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So along that V is where you're going to sew.
So that you give space
And
for
you
it to.
finish here. So that when you open it up, you're going to be like this. And you see here how it has excess material.
Yes.
That would be to accommodate the bust. If
That's
you're
also
making,
used in skirts and stuff, right? Anything that you want to give a curve to.
yes, that's what I was going to get to. You use it around the bust line. You use it on the waist to take in the waist and actually give shape for the rear,
Yeah,
for
the
the
curvy.
hips. Okay. The other day you had asked me about a dart in a pair of pants.
Mm-hmm.
Usually in um, I guess it would be more like hunting pants, cargo pants, anything where you're going to be active. They can put it in the knees, around the knees, to accommodate the knee. Okay.
That's good because that's leading to a question that I had, which is all of these little I mean, you only mentioned one, right? But the little techniques that I know there are to make different dresses and stuff, would they apply only to female dresses or also to male? Anything that you're making with material, that technique is to give that.
Yeah. You can have darts in a men's pair of pants. Okay, they have darts. Usually they're cut a little different, the men's pants, but you could have them in the. I'm thinking about the jeans, but I don't think the jeans have the darts. they can put the darts in, to accommodate, because you have men who do have a bigger rear,
Yeah.
and they would have to have the waist taken in.
Especially men of color. Men of color have a bigger chunky butt. So
yes, and you do not buy a pair of pants according to your waist unless you're an even size. But most.
What do you mean by even size? For those who don't know, and I'll include myself in that.
Okay. An even size, I'm talking about the size that the designers use. Like, say your waist is a 24 and your hips should then be a 30. Okay. Most Puerto Rican women don't have that size.
I was about to say.
If you have a 24, you probably have a 36, 40 hips. So you can't get that. You can't have that 40 hip inside the size 30 hip pants. So you got to buy the pants according to your hip size.
Correct.
And then you got to take in the waist to fit you.
I got a quick question. Why is it that, let's say, men's pants are a size 36 to 38, but women's will be a size 16? Why the difference?
Of the amount of inches that their waist and hips are. So
yeah,
that's more marketing than anything.
Really?
Yeah. It goes according to the men's waist and length. Your waist size would be the 34 and your length would be 32.
Miguelo, tú que bregas con tenis, ¿verdad? Is it the same thing with shoes? Like, is a men's size 4 a women's size 4, or a different size for women, and why? Is it marketing?
Here's the thing. It's almost the same issue, because let's say the woman feet normally is more, delicate, smaller in, all the way around compared with men's foot.
Right.
So for that reason, they create, the companies create a sneaker like a little bit thinner, the size, the size is different, but also how narrow is the sneaker. That's, they take that into consideration.
So it's not just the size of the foot, like the length of it. It's also the shape of the foot, how wide it is, how high the instep is. Exactly. That changes as well, because a man's instep of his foot is a lot larger. It's thicker.
Yeah, normally it's wider.
It's normally wider. So that's why you'll find women who have bigger feet buying men's shoes, because one, it's easier for them to fit their big feet because they have bigger feet. They have bigger, wider feet. So they're like, well, I can't really fit in a woman's shoe comfortably, but I can fit in a men's shoe a lot more comfortably. This works.
Exactly. Yeah, normally it's wider. The men's shoes is wider.
Right.
That's sneaker, work shoes, especially work shoes are wider for men.
Yeah,
because of that.
And you have men who have smaller or narrower feet, and they can use the women's shoes, because Joe used to buy his shoes from the women's sizes. A women's size 11, will fit him fine, because the men's size shoe, his size, would be too wide for his foot. And he says when he put the shoe on, he felt his foot wobbling because it was.
I remember myself going through something like that, and it was I guess around maybe 12, 13, where I'm too small for men's sizes, but I'm too. But all the everything else that would be my size looked like kiddie stuff.
Right.
So I would look for the more masculine of the girl shoes, put that on, and as long as it's fully black or fully white or one full color and not a feminine color, the Adidas shell tops look the fucking same, male or female.
Yeah. Now these days they look almost the same. It's just they are a little wider or a little narrow, whatever.
Yeah, nowadays the sneakers look the same. There's nothing that really says girl anymore, because men's sneakers have the same bright colors that traditionally used to be for girls.
No, I got an example.
I'm sure you do.
Yes.
I'm looking behind you.
Look
at that. I would totally rock those.
This is a men's shoe.
Really?
And look how it looks.
I love it.
Yeah, I would totally buy those.
And it's a men's shoe.
Brutal.
Look
You
at
know,
me. Oh, those are nice.
Wow.
but now this,
Those are nice.
even right now, this year, the sneaker of the year is a woman's sneaker. It's supposed to be made for women, but pretty much every man want that sneaker, that style, because it was a woman's sneaker. It was created for women, but the way it looks is perfect for men.
What makes a sneaker of the year a sneaker of the year? Is it what it's made out of, the attention that goes into it, the design, or is it just they sold more than everybody else?
It's a combination.
Okay.
Remember, that combination is you have a story behind the sneaker, you have the materials, you have what silhouette. For example, in this case was the Jordan 4, but it was created for women because the creator of the sneaker, he was raised up by women, and he had this respect for his mother and sisters, and for that reason, he pretty much create the sneaker with all that in mind.
Okay.
The funny thing is, it came so good that at the end everybody likes it.
Nice.
But it was created for women exclusively.
Do you think in the sneaker game right now, people are more paying more attention as far as the designers and the companies? Are they paying more attention to sales or to artistic value?
I can say they are more into whatever trend. If you see the trending for Bad Bunny sneakers, for example, they make all this noise about the Bad Bunny sneakers, and everybody's looking for those sneakers more for the person who created the sneaker, not for the design. I like it. I love the sneakers, but at the same time, people follow Bad Bunny.
Right.
It's the same for the Jordans. People tend to follow whatever style is on the retro Jordan, the old style Jordan. That's what they're looking for. More than maybe this other sneaker that, it's nice, but it's not the style that is trending, let's say. I almost sure it's the same with the, with dresses and all that. I almost sure it's more almost the same way.
Yeah.
I have no idea because I don't follow much of the trends. I'll look online at women's fashion and stuff like that. And of course, I'm always going to look at the clearance sales and this, that, and the other thing. And there might be certain trendy fashions that I'll see. But honestly, if it's trendy and I like it, then I'm happy. If it's trendy, but I don't like it, I don't care. That's just basically how I go with it. But there are people who were just like, no, I have to wear what's trendy. And that's their excitement. So, it's just the whole, and, to each his own. If they make enough money to buy whatever is trendy and then let it go, hey, and that's what makes them happy, then that's what makes them happy. But, but my thing is that it's interesting for me to see how styles just come in and out and in and out. And there's like this mesh of retro with new, and before the trend even starts, it's already finishing and going further back to a retro. This is brand new. I was like, that's not new. I've done that. I used to do that when I was.
Well, we did a podcast on consumerism not too long ago.
Yes, we did.
And within the investigations and studies that we did, somebody, I forgot exactly who it was, had a successful business person, conniving little bastard, which probably made him one of my heroes, said, when it comes to any market, you can't give people anything new. Humankind won't accept it. In masses, they will not accept anything new. You have to give them something old with just a little twist, and they'll jump on it because in their head they're upgrading. So when you study business marketing, you know what I mean? It's never about filling a need. Your first step is creating a need. If I'm building a product to sell a product and I'm going to sell it to you guys, you don't really need anything that I fucking give. But I have to make you think that you need it. And the easiest way for other people to accept it is by giving them something that they're already used to.
The upgrade.
You're right.
And they'll immediately
Yep.
think it's an
Yeah.
upgrade.
See,
Okay.
Which is probably why we continuously see styles come back around.
exactly.
It's cyclical.
See, I saw something today. I don't know if it was real, because to me it's like they can't be bringing this back. But supposedly it has to do with the stirrup pants. I don't know if you know what stirrup pants are, but they're like stretchy pants, long pants. I think they had them when I was a kid, and they have a piece of elastic on the bottom that holds it onto your feet.
Yeah, those are back. They're here.
They're back.
They've been back.
Why
Yeah.
in God's name would
Everything
they bring
comes back.
Well, they use them like ski pants.
I remember them.
See
Yeah.
them as
I remember them.
ski pants. Yeah,
Everything comes
those
back.
have come
Everything.
back like 3-4 times already in my lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
and I still can't get myself to wear them.
Well, it's a good thing that
I
everything
didn't wear
comes
them
back
as a
because maybe
child,
now
as a
guys, maybe
teenager, I
eventually
can't.
guys will put their pants where they belong.
¿Cómo fue?
No.
That it's a good thing that things come back because hopefully guys will start putting their pants back where they belong.
Hopefully they'll start dressing like men.
But that's
Men,
the thing.
men
Like,
in the 40s and the 50s, so elegant.
hopefully, but everything comes back.
Yeah.
That's simple and plain. But
See.
there's one important thing. When you make something like exclusive, like, okay, I'm gonna sell you this kind of pants, but now instead of have 2 million, we have a limited edition of 200. People get crazy.
Yeah.
It's the same freaking pant, but people get crazy because of that.
See, they have to hurry up and get it before it's finished.
There is a suit, right? And these suits are of the most expensive ones. In fact, I'm gonna tell you about it, and then I'm gonna show you a picture because we've all seen these suits. And me personally, I don't like the movies that they come out in, but these suits are fucking hot. They're hot as hell. They're made out of I'm definitely gonna need your help on this one. They use cashmere, Cuvier, and vicuña. And that's part of the reason why they're so expensive.
Okay.
They use that thing.
So you have no idea. Apparently, they are expensive materials, fabrics.
Cashmere, yes. Cashmere has always been very expensive. It's a very soft, very luxurious fabric.
Almost like crushed silk type thing going on. It's just
it's
and
kind
and
of,
I remember you saying
fuzzy, but very soft, very kitten soft.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you said, I may be paraphrasing a bit, but you said something along to the effects of you rather do an autopsy on yourself than work with silk.
Yeah. Silk is so
it's unforgiving.
to work with. Yeah.
It's very unforgiving.
Okay, when you say unforgiving in a fabric, what exactly is the context of that?
Carmen?
It means that you can't make any errors when you're cutting it. You have to make sure it is cut exactly, como decimos en español, al hilo. Okay? Mm-hmm. It has to be perfectly squared, the material, before you even start to pin a pattern on it. Because if it's slightly off center and you cut it, you're going to ruin it because it's so silky and so soft and it drapes beautifully. But there can't be any errors in cutting it. And if it's cut wrong, it's not going to sew properly.
Really?
That's why it's unforgiving.
And
I have a question on that. 1 second. In that case, what do you think is the best way to cut something like that? You know, you have any kind of special scissor, any special way you think that you can do it easier and better for you?
Okay. From what I've read, I don't deal with silk. You know, you bring me silk, and forget it. Take it to somebody else. Soy bien sincera. From what I understand, what they do is after they make sure that it's cut nice and straight, okay, then what they do is they like pin it onto tissue paper,
Mhm.
and they make sure that it lays perfectly flat on the tissue paper, and then they proceed to pin the pattern onto it and then to cut it.
Wow.
You have to
Why the tissue
adhere
paper?
it. Well, tissue paper is very soft. It's forgiving. It's soft, and it won't allow, once you put the material on it, you can cut it and it won't allow the material to move.
To slip. Because the problem is that it has to be squared.
Yeah, it
And
has to
Carmen,
be
can you
square.
explain what squared means? Because I think I understand, but I'm not sure, and I don't wanna
Okay,
misinterpret that.
squared means, material is woven. So
Mhm,
you
Mhm.
have your horizontal threads and your vertical threads.
mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
So
Okay.
if you're going to cut something like when you're using linen, you want to make sure that those threads are exactly the horizontal and the vertical are perpendicular to each other. Okay. You don't want to cut it if they're slightly off, because
Mhm,
then your material is going to stretch. So you got to make
Okay.
sure that the vertical is perfectly vertical, okay, onto the tissue paper before you put the pattern on. So when you put the pattern on and you're going to do the center seam, let's say, the center seam is perfectly on the vertical threads.
gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
It's kind of like a
So that
stabilizer.
it doesn't stretch. Did you
Okay.
understand, Miguelo?
Yeah. It's yeah. No, no, no. I trying to make sure it's kind of like stabilize the silk, kind of,
Mhm.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. The tissue
Okay.
paper stabilizes the silk so that when you're cutting it, because when you're cutting with the scissors, it's going to move a little.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So the tissue
Okay.
paper actually helps the silk stay in place so that you can cut it.
It's kind of like putting a towel under your cutting board when you're cutting meat, para que no se te mueva para
Uh
todos
huh.
lados.
Mhm.
No,
See,
no. It's like the like embroidery. You have to use a stabilizer to do the same. To keep it in place
Okay.
and not
see,
stretch.
yeah,
Okay.
sí,
Okay.
para que no se tiren.
So cashmere is just as much of a pain in the ass to deal with as silk or worse.
Um, well, they're different materials, and I've never dealt with cashmere.
So cashmere,
Cashmere is usually
I can probably
I'm
uh-huh.
help
just
you with
curious.
that
Go ahead.
because
No, no. Go ahead. I'm just gonna read about that the
um,
cashmere.
so
Well,
the situation.
besides those fabrics,
Uh-huh.
um, the stitching of these and this is something I would like to find out how they actually make it. The stitching is done in white gold, 24 karat white gold.
So they strung 24 karat threads.
They only make 100 suits per year, and each suit is worth $43,000.
Yeah, well,
I
it
want one.
it accounts for that. The thread
Uh-oh.
and the material alone. Forget the work.
Miguel,
Oh,
¿qué
I
iba a
see.
decir?
Oh, no, no, no. I just reading about. Oh, it's come from the cashmere goats.
Mhm.
It
See,
came from goats. Okay. Yeah.
from the
It's
goats.
maybe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's the reason.
See,
Wow.
it's very soft. Usually you find
And
cashmere
vicuña
in
is
sweaters
also a
and
type of
suits.
wool. Is also a
Hmm.
type of wool from a specific
Wow.
animal.
See, from the cashmere goat, like he read.
Hmm.
So
And
these, if you've ever seen a James Bond movie from 1995 to now, all of his suits are the Brioni Vanquish 2.
Okay.
$43,000 a suit. Now let
I,
me
u- I
see.
I used to have one, but I don't use it anymore.
I honestly wish I could say I had one. These things are absolutely gorgeous.
Wow. I wish I could have one so I can sell it and not have to work for a year. I mean, seriously.
Right?
Let me see if I
Wow.
can share
The
my
cashmere sweaters are
screen.
very expensive.
Yeah.
You know, I
I have
mean,
a sweater that looks like cashmere. It's not obviously because I bought it in Marshalls, but it looks like yeah. Oh,
see,
You see, he looked like me, pretty much.
and
Pretty
you
much.
and you look at it. It is such a simple design. There's nothing special about it, but yet it
Okay, you
fits
know
in
what?
perfectly.
I'm gonna leave that on screen real quick so people can see that while we talk about it. You say simple, I say bullshit because we spoke about this a little while ago. When you make just a jacket of a suit, just a jacket, you're literally sewing the same fucking jacket, the same lines at least 4 times
Yes,
between the
yes,
lining and the inside material and what the padding and what holds everything, the stabilizer, I guess it would be called, and then the
uh-huh.
outside, the actual fabric that you see. Fuck me
See,
running backwards. Those things are a pain in the ass to make.
yes, they are. But when I say simple, I mean it doesn't have a lot of embellishments. He doesn't have any special designs on the lapels. You know, it's just a plain lapel. You know, he's got the pocket for the pocket hanky. You know, that pocket alone is difficult to make because
Right
you have
here, can you see the cursor going up and down?
yeah.
that's a dart.
That's exactly what I was gonna ask you. So that's a dart.
That's a dart. Yes, it is. And that's to actually conform the
Oh.
material to his waist and his body. You see how nice it gives him the big shoulders and the smaller waist?
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's what the darts are for, to help conform to the body
So it's
shape.
not that it's cut in that shape, is that it's sewn with certain techniques to mold the fabric into that shape.
Right.
Exactly. Let me see if I could
Okay, now you said you don't cut your darts afterwards. Is that everybody?
no, no, some people will cut them, you know, and
But
it
then you
helps
can't
them.
tailor them afterwards, right? If you have to let it
Exactly.
out or something like that.
Exactly. You don't, you know, it's made to that. If they're custom made, they're made to that person's measurements, so they're not going to be changed. You know, you can let it out at the side seams, but the dart is very rarely taken out. You know, especially since it's in the front or in the back. If you take it in a lot and then you got to let that material out because it's too tight, you're going to see the pinholes of the needles on the material,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's not a good. That's not good. You know,
Question: once there's a pinhole in the material, which there's going to be because you have to pin it to the pattern to cut it and all of that, is there a way of getting it out, or do you just have to hide it?
you hide it.
You hide it. So once that pin is in there, it's there. You're fucked.
Yeah. Well, what happens? See, when you're cutting the pattern, if it's a factory made, the factories have machines and they don't actually pin it. They
Right?
will
They
have
just lay.
layers on top of layers of material, and then they have a machine that comes down and cuts it.
Que parece una guillotina. It looks like
See,
a guillotine.
see, and it'll cut it actually to the desired shape. Okay, so
Interesting.
there's no um
Pinholes.
yeah, there's no pinholes there. Now, if you're sewing at home, you're not going to pin inside the material itself. You have the lines for the cutting, right? But you're going to
Hmm.
put your pins real close to the cutting line. You're not going to put it in here where you're going to put the dart because you're going to have the pinhole there. So you're going to pin it where you're going to cut, the line where you're going to cut. So when you cut and you sew, that pinhole is going to stay inside the seam and nobody's going to see it.
So though when it comes to sewing, though you can sew something to make smaller or cut something to open up to make bigger, though you can make all the adjustments, it's better to be as precise as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why
What?
the dresses that I have, dresses that they don't fit and I've never even worn them. Um, it's just better off for me to get a new dress than it is for me to try to take it in, because
Yeah.
that's just it's gonna play with the way the dresses actually look, the way that they were sewn. And
Exactly. You can take it in a few inches, like say it's an inch too big for you. So you can
mhm,
take in, a quarter of an inch on this side and a quarter of an inch on this side, because whatever you do to one side, you do to the other.
yeah, it's
Otherwise,
balance.
se te vira. Okay,
Mhm.
so you take a quarter of an inch here and a quarter of an inch there, and there goes your inch. You can
Your
do that.
adjustment. Hmm.
But if you have to take in like 5 inches, 6 inches, that's too much to take in, and it's going to compromise the fit. The way it actually falls on the body, it's going to be compromised because you're taking in too
Okay.
much.
So all of these things we're talking about, the as far as the methods of sewing stuff, right? Of putting it together, putting the garments together. It's the same. There's nothing that changes between men's designs and women's designs as far as the way you elaborate the pattern and put it all together. Right? A dart is a
Okay, say
dart.
that again because you froze for a minute.
Um, as far as the actual process of making women's garments, men's garments, there's not much difference. The process is the same. Your lines, your stitching, your darts, your pinning, your this. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. So let me ask you this: why is it that there's a lot more boutiques? Like right now, off the top of my head, within a 5 mile radius, there are like one, two, three boutiques for women's clothing. Not one where, like, let's say me and Miguel can be like, yo, let's go get ourselves some fly pants, yo. There's this wedding
Mm.
coming up. Let's go kill it. You know, we gotta
They're all
handle
women.
whatever's either in Target or fucking Walmart because, or Burlington if we feel like we want something nice, because there is nothing for us unless we're talking about thousands of dollars James Bond type fucking suits.
Or Macy's. Remember, we went to Macy's.
Sí. It-
That was just blouses in the men's department. Okay, that wasn't even men's fucking clothing. Straight up and down, dude. When
No,
look,
you had
look,
tropical. You had a
if,
tropical
if you
choice
like if
too.
you like
Remember?
skinny pants, that's one thing. But when the hole where your ankle is supposed to, where your foot is supposed to come out at your ankle, is thinner than a fucking condom, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like they're
the
gonna fuck
skinny
up your
pants.
circulation. We have to deal with whatever they tell us is in style. Me
Yeah.
personally, I don't like anybody telling me what's in style. I'll tell
Bless
you
you.
my style.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
46-year-old in a Spider-Man fucking hoodie. Don't tell me what I'm supposed to wear. I'll tell you what I'm gonna wear. You know,
Yeah.
and it's a lot easier to go out and find prom dresses, wedding dresses, evening gowns, nightgowns, party this,
And
cocktail
cheaper.
dresses, blah 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 blah. And you go to get one nice double pleated baggy pants like we did, and it's horrible because they don't have it. They look
Yeah.
at me
They
like I
don't.
have
They
two
don't
fucking
cater.
heads.
Unfortunately, they don't cater much to menswear.
But why
Um,
is that? Why is it that
I I don't
menswear
know
is not
because
as readily available as women's wear?
Because
Because
apparently the artistic
I would.
the artistic
I,
method, thus the artistic value of it, because it is an art, is the same. So you're still doing art. Why is it that you prefer to do art for the females and not art for the guys if you can get just as creative?
I would speculate that women buy more clothes than men.
Hmm.
Men tend to buy. I mean, men wear pants, shirts, jacket. It's just a different type of material for the pants and a different type of material for the jacket. Okay, but it's always pants and jacket. You can wear the same pants unless you change in size. You can wear the pants for years. Women tend to follow the trend more. So most women, okay, Sandy and I don't apply to this, but most women would tend to not wear what they have in their closet from last year because that's last year's trend.
I just got rid of a jumper that I had when I was 13 years old, and I got rid of it
Pepe?
6 years ago. I was 13 when I used that jumper. I got rid of that bitch when I was 6 years
Con el
ago.
bultito hunting.
See, she and I, we hold on to it. We like it. We keep using it. We don't care if it's on trend or not. It still fits me, and it's still,
But there's one thing.
Uh-huh.
The fashion is changing a little bit on that, because now I know it's gonna sound weird. You can find a little bit more about that, but they changing a little bit about men's fashion because now they taking more into consideration. Again, I'm sorry, but again, people like Bad Bunny, people like different new rappers that are more into fashion, and the biggest house of fashion taking that into consideration. Now you see one of these reggaeton guys getting into Dolce and Gabbana, or they getting more into that rather than by our time. In my case, we were more like, okay, a t-shirt, some pants, and boom, let's go.
Exacto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now with the movie stars and the singers and stuff, they are getting into the fashion, and so people want to follow whatever it is they're wearing.
Yeah,
exactly.
But that's unfair because then guys like people like me, we're kind of stuck. We're out of the loop.
You're the minority. You're not the one that's going to be pushing the industry.
It's like I'm pretty sure that every black goes with everything. Almost everything. White goes with almost everything. So I can have either a white suit or a black suit and put on every sneaker that Miguelo has there. But
yeah, it works.
It's a lot more fun if I take one of the sneakers and not just combine it with my pocket handkerchief and my tie, which for some reason is the normal. If you're gonna change your shoes, and then just make sure that you combine it with your tie, and that's it. You're good. Why not the inside of the jacket?
Exactly.
And why not the color of the actual threading of the seams?
Yeah, sure. That reminds me of that old program of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where he turned his jacket inside out because he wanted to
still to this day look good, and they actually pulled out the sneakers.
Yeah,
with that pattern, and they look hot.
Yeah.
But there's one thing now. Everything is changing so much that maybe 25 years ago, 30 years ago, you're not going to see anybody with a dress suit and sneakers. Now that's something pretty normal. You can see somebody with Jordans and a nice dress suit, and it look fine.
Well, in my defense, I didn't do it for my graduation because mom didn't let me.
Because
when I graduated, my grandmother almost had a coronary because I graduated in a beautiful dress and combat boots. And she was just looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, I'm keeping my ass from falling or looking like a brand new deer. The way these girls are walking in their heels. I know what the steps of Carina Marque looks like. I'm not gonna kill myself there. So I'm good. I'm wearing my combat boots, and I was comfortable. I was happy, and you see all the girls doing this thing while they're walking.
It's normal. These days, that's normal.
See,
now it's normal. Back then, what are you doing?
But back then, you didn't do that. And I want to go back. I want to go back to what Miguel had said. Where the singers are now getting into fashion. But he said they're getting into the Dolce and Gabbana. Okay. You're still going high end. Okay. Even though it's their name, but you're still going high end. And not everybody can afford Dolce and Gabbana.
Okay, hold on. Time out for the person who is ignorant of brand. Is that like Gucci or Versace or something like that?
Exactly.
It's almost there.
It's almost there? Okay. I just don't know. I only know about those things because I watch documentaries on true crime, and they all are related to true crime one way or another.
See, and the Armani.
That's
Go
the
ahead.
only reason why I know about that shit. I was like, Versace, you remember? Okay, and Gucci, yeah. There was a lot of, they killed that dude. That was nasty. She did it.
Yeah. But these are all high-end, designers, and they're
And yet,
gonna
a
cost
lot of
you
them are
thousands of
still
dollars.
riding on just their name.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The actual materials that they use are not of the higher end.
That's another thing I was gonna
And yet
say.
it's
I'm
supposed
glad
to
you
be.
brought that up because I was gonna say Carmen and I are not gonna be able to buy something that we liked now and be able to use it another 20 years from now because the quality of the fabric or the material that's being used is not the same.
Exacto.
It's
It's
not, it feels like, I feel like if I buy something, it'll disintegrate after 3 washes. And I'm like, what is this? I
see,
literally, I mean, I can tell, fine. I might have paid $2 for it on the outlet or whatever the case may be, that going for sale store that I went to in Yauco Plaza. And after the second wash, literally, I was like, se fue toda la tinta, and all the ink is on my legs. Okay, so I'm
see,
paid. So that's what's the difference between one thing and the other. But I
exactly.
really can't say that, even though I might have paid good money for that pair of jeans or even those shoes or sneakers, it's not going to last me as long as maybe the other pair of shoes or sneakers. I haven't seen a pair of shoes being bequeathed to the next generation for a wedding day in
Mhm.
ages, because those shoes will not last in your
No,
box. And I have shoes in my boxes and I'm like terrified. I'm like, I hope that they're okay. I hope that they won't disintegrate
I
on me,
think the
because
only community, and I could be wrong, but I think the only community that still does that are like tap dancers and stuff like that.
okay.
Like they'll pass something down like here,
could
and
be.
so they can, yeah.
See, see.
But
Well,
that relay on the materials, like you say, is
see,
manufactured. Everything right now, when you talk about, let's say, for example, MCM, you know, this used to be made in Germany.
I left my glasses.
Now,
Nice.
yeah, now they made this in Vietnam, China,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and the kind of material is different. It's not gonna last.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Maybe something like tap shoes, they were handmade
Handmade.
with better materials, better
Right.
quality, that
See,
gonna last longer.
yeah,
Right.
Miguelo,
Mhm.
do sneakers come like, okay? You said they started making that sneaker in one place and then they ended up making the same sneaker in Thailand now. Do collectors take the addition, not just the addition, but the material itself into consideration when they collect them?
Yeah, yeah, because that's the problem. It's the same as any dress, um, any wallet, bags. It's the same. Sometimes the material dictates everything, and where they manufacture. Anything that is handmade is more valuable than anything from a factory,
There you
Mm-hmm.
go,
because
Carmen.
take
mm-hmm.
more time, it take more effort, and it's better made. The quality is better.
Hmm.
All that take into consideration. You know.
Exactly. Yeah, and if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on an
Sorry.
Armani suit, um, you're expecting them to use the top quality materials,
Mhm.
which is
Right.
how it should be. That's how it should be, because they're charging you for the material and the labor and the name. Okay, and the name. Um, so that's the difference between buying a $10 Me Salvé. That is nothing wrong, because I love going shopping for my pajamas in Me Salvé. Okay, I wear them, but that's the difference between $10 pajamas in Me Salvé. After maybe 6 or 7 washes, they're all stretched out and they're faded,
Mhm.
and maybe buying $50 pajamas in Macy's or some boutique. I don't know who else, because I don't go to boutiques, but that would be the difference. They cost
Mhm.
more, and they have designer name, so that you expect it to last longer. I still have the nightgowns that I used when I gave birth to Joey, and I
Oh, wow.
I still have the nightgown that I used when I gave birth to Alexis.
That's impressive.
Están nuevecitos, but I got them
Yeah.
in Macy's.
You got them.
And I have paid a good, I said, I want something special, when I go give birth to my children. I still have them.
That's wow.
But that speaks about quality.
So like most things, if
Hold
you're
on,
gonna buy
time out.
out,
Just to let you know, guys, we are not sponsored by Macy's. Thank you.
No, I'm sorry.
Macy's, you never know. We can open up a segment,
Yeah,
it's good to know a little bit of not the business, but the actual production of the garments in order to be a better consumer.
Yeah.
Because
And I would like to say something here. Now
yes.
that when you're going to buy clothing, I have a habit, and a lot of people don't like it, but it's my habit. When I go to buy an article of clothing, of course, yes, I look at it. Your father gets mad because he says I'm touchy-feely. I have to touch everything that I see. But there's a reason for it. I look at it. I see the front, the back. I check out the buttons. I turn it inside out, and I look to see how it was finished. Because if you paying $40 for a blouse, to me that's expensive. I'm sorry. I'm paying $40 for a blouse. I want to make sure that blouse is finished inside, so that when I wash it, I don't end up with just a piece of material that came apart, like Sandy says. So you look on the inside, make sure that it's finished, make sure it has zigzag if it's supposed to have zigzag. That's being a good consumer. Look for what you're doing. When I used to go to the fairs and I used to sell the baby clothes and stuff like that, people used to come to my table and they used to look inside the dress. And what did I do? I used to help them, and I used to turn it inside out for them. Look here, check it out. I did.
Now what would be more important, the process or the material, or do they go hand in hand?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. Because
down here we're like both.
If the material is poor,
I mean, in all fairness, all three of you guys, you're conscious consumers.
Okay.
I'm a crazy guy.
Of course, you're gonna say both.
No. We didn't talk about whether you're frugal or whether you're or not.
I mean, okay, buying a silk shirt, I've done it in the past. I paid $80 for one black silk shirt. I grabbed it before they looked at the price. I forgot what store I was at, because I know that silk is worth a lot more than the $80.
Right.
I looked it up now. Mulberry silk is $100 per yard. I wear an extra large, so that's already a yard and a half. $80 for that shirt was a fucking steal, and whoever it is right now, they're probably still paying off the difference. Like, fuck, I fucked up on the price.
Yeah.
What's the other Burmese lotus flower silk? Is just as expensive, if not more, than the mulberry silk.
Wow.
And it does come from lotus flowers.
Yeah. Okay. That is so
cut
cool.
it, and you pull out the little sap, and you stretch it.
See.
And then you kind of like twist it. Then you go back again, and you stretch it. So you have these ponds full of lotus flowers, and it's not to sell the flowers, which you can make double the actually triple, because you can sell the seeds and the offspring of those flowers. But yeah, then you just bring them out and you cut them and you roll your own shit, instead of having to take care of the worms and feed the worms, and which is a lot harder of a process. But for some reason, the lotus flower silk, I believe, is a little bit more expensive. I know Sandy doesn't agree with this, but leopard fur, illegal leopard, $8,000 a meter.
Why you wear that?
Whoa, hold on. I didn't feel it. Why y'all yelling at me?
There's no reason for that to be in the market.
No,
you
gotta kill that poor animal just to take its skin.
Cervelt. It's called cervelt, which is a type of red deer in New Zealand, and its pelt is actually softer than cashmere. One pair of socks. That's right, of socks. One pair, $1,500.
Nah. Yeah.
And another type of deer called chatouche. A shawl, a regular 4 foot by 3 foot shawl, $5,000.
Wow.
So, but these are also things that, okay, it's a leopard. First of all, you got to go out into the wild and hunt. I don't agree with it, but you have to go out into the wild and hunt these things. Even though you have rifles, you know where they are. They know where you are too. You're still running the fucking risk. You know?
Yeah.
And depending on where you are, and I highly doubt that a big company will deal with illegal poachers.
Yeah.
Oh,
you can say, well, you know what? Corporates are assholes and whatever, but there is too much in a blink of an eye. It only takes a fraction of a second from that bullet to go from that nut, from that rifled nozzle into that animal, and you lose everything.
Exacto.
So I highly doubt they'll be using extremely high caliber because you're gonna fuck up the pelt. They're not gonna be doing it illegally because then shipping it out, transporting it alone is going to be a bitch, and you can fuck up the pelt. So you're going out to look for fucking leopards. If the suit is worth $30,000 and it's made out of leopard, god damn it, here's 35. You earned the shit. You know, silk, you earned it because you're taking all these strands of either spit or shit that comes out of the silkworm, but however it comes out of, or the sap of a lotus flower, making a really thin strand of spit and shit, spinning that into another little thread, spinning that into another thread, and now with that you can finally start putting them onto the loom and making actual tela. Holy fuck, that's a process, yo. That's a process. So stuff like that, you want to charge me good money? Fine. Because the process alone guarantees me that I'm gonna wear this, like you lady said, more than once.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want to get your money's worth.
Of course.
That's something that drives me crazy is that you'll see, and even now you see marketing on the internet where people like they'll sell, you're bored with your wardrobe, you can sell your wardrobe or your sneakers, right? And stuff like that. And somebody else will pick them up, and then you have other celebrities like, hey, I'm selling this out or whatever, because they're celebrities and they're not allowed to be seen wearing the same outfit twice. And it's like, who the hell said that? Who put that standard on?
Audrey Hepburn's frock. I'm not sure what a frock is. You'll let me know now, Mom. A frock by Givenchy, $900,000.
But it's Audrey Hepburn's.
Mom, explain what a frock is, and I'm going to look for the picture.
A frock, as I understand it, es un saco.
Yeah.
Un saco. It's got the hole, the neck hole, the arm holes, and it just hangs.
It just hangs, and then you cinch it at the waist with the
You use a belt or a rope, kind of like what the monks used to wear. That would be a frock, a hooded frock they wore. Okay, that's not a frock. That's a dress.
It looked like
and
a dress.
And that's from what movie is that? That's the iconic dress that she wore in what movie was it?
The Tiffany one.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Breakfast at Tiffany's. Yes, that's where it's from.
Yeah. Sometimes they refer to dresses as a frock.
That's how come I said it's a dress.
Yeah, they refer to it as a frock from way back when. But I understand a frock to be un saco. It really doesn't have much shape to it.
Well, es un saco de chavos y se fue por 900,000.
Yeah, that's a good looking saco.
Beautiful.
It's like a Pedro Picapiedra dress.
Sí, exacto. Exacto. Hold it
That's
together with
exactly.
a pin over here or something, you know?
Yep.
Wow.
Let me
But
see which other ones I have here. Here's one that actually looks nice. I don't agree with the price, and I'm so happy that Sandy isn't into stuff like this. That is
Uh, that's pretty.
Amal Clooney, and it was made
Oh,
by Oscar de la Renta.
yeah.
Three
George
hundred and
Clooney's home.
$80,000. It had 14 yards of, I don't know what this is, Chantilly applique, hand beading,
Chantilly
and
give me one
appliques.
second.
embroidery. The what?
Appliques and what?
Appliques. I don't know what an applique is.
An applique is what you put onto the fabric to give it a decoration, kind of like what you would see, like you see how she has the very trim of her veil.
I'm gonna try to zoom in.
It's like
On
you
the
see that
floor.
on the floor, or even there you can see it, but you see how
Yeah.
that
This
whole
stuff.
paisley,
That
that
are
stuff.
appliques.
That would be appliques. So
Yeah.
let's say, for example, somebody would crochet or would knit and create that flowery stuff, and then that you would apply
Onto the
it
knitting.
to the fabric, and hence the word
Yeah.
applique, applicar, French word. That's all it
See.
is.
Hmm?
Do
Something new
you,
for me.
other than the fact that it's a celebrity, would you value that at that price?
If it's a celebrity that's buying it, sure.
Would I value it? I would say it's how much was it?
300.
380,000.
I mean, to me,
Let's not take into account that it's celebrities that are buying it, and it was Oscar de la Renta who designed it.
okay.
Taking
Well,
that out of the equation by what you see, the process that would have to go through in order to make that,
yeah,
it would be
yeah.
worth that.
I would value it as a little less because it would have my name instead of Oscar de la Renta, and I'm a nobody, to the world. So like we said before, the name of the designer has a lot to do with it. But that takes a lot of work because all those appliques have to be done by hand. Those
Really?
are thousands of hours of work.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That
That
sequin
goes
alone
into
is
that.
thousands of hours of work.
Yes.
Let me
And
see
if
if
it
I
has
find.
sequins on it and if it has beading on it and pearls,
There's
and
no machine that can put that on there.
no,
It
that
has to
is
be
all
hand stitched.
hand done.
Yep. Everything
The,
has to be hand
the
done.
appliques are hand done and they're hand sewn onto the net.
I'm trying to find.
But
Here
that's
we
the
go.
thing. Is Oscar de la Renta, the designer, how difficult it is to make it. And plus, I almost sure whoever made it have also the name. Whoever is the person who saw, who put it together. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's like a combination of things that make that value.
Exacto. I mean, all these big designers, they have their seamstresses to do the work.
Hmm.
And to work with them, you have to go through, you have to be able to do certain, you have to have certain knowledge. And
Hmm.
if you're like, say you're sewing on a machine, and this is true for many designers, you're sewing on a machine, you have to regulate the stitches on the machine to say if they want it to be 10 stitches per inch, you got to regulate it and give them 10 stitches per inch.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give them 9, don't give them 11, it's got to be 10,
Question: why?
because that helps the material. It gives you a tighter or a looser sewing. Okay, the seams, and the seams can be more flexible. Okay, and they're the ones who decide how they want it, depending on what garment it is that
So
you're
there's
sewing.
no standard jeans have to be strong on this part, so obligado tiene que ir.
See, because you don't want a pair of jeans that's gonna tear up at your crotch.
Coño, Miguel, are sneakers like that? Is there like a standard of how many stitches per inch? I never thought of that shit until now.
To be honest, I don't know in that case.
Well, you got sneakers right behind you. Mide más o menos una pulgada, a ver.
I can check, but no. But here's the thing. Again, you can say normally all these sneakers are made, in China, Taiwan, those places. When you talk about something that is made in Italy, or it's a special manufacturer that changed everything, and it's like she says, it's gonna be a bigger quality control.
Exactly.
In everything, materials, colors, color codes, everything get together to make this perfect, special, magical sneaker. That's the whole idea.
And then it is also tells you whether or not it's going to actually be sewn versus going to be pasted on with that super glue, as far as the quality of the making of the sneaker. Because I remember when we started transitioning, because when I was a kid, my mom used to buy me Oshkosh or Buster Brown shoes. And
holy shit, yep.
Yeah, I took it back, but you see that quality. Everybody knows who Buster Brown is, no matter how old you are, because you're still gonna see that that's supposed to be quality, and it is. You see,
and they're gonna last,
and it's gonna last, and that's their basically their selling point. It's like you're gonna pay some money, but you know what? That's gonna be the hand-me-downs to all of your kids because they're gonna last. The same thing with the Oshkosh for kids. Oshkosh for kids. Eso cogen pela and sigue. They're like, they don't die. And these kids really do kill this clothing, but they're going to last for their siblings. And I'm like, thank goodness. Sorry.
And that's the whole thing. No, but that's the whole idea. Right now, the sneakers, they don't make sneakers to last. In reality, yeah, you can make it last, controlling the humidity and everything in your room, but at the end, they are not like those shoes,
right?
Like the old Clarks, the Buster Brown, because the new Clarks is not the same. It's not the same quality. No,
they're not.
When you talk about, let's say, Louis Vuitton shoes, it's something special, something different.
Yeah.
They made a different way, and something like we were talking the other day, any kind of shoes made by hand, that's something else.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a couple of thousands for a pair of shoes. Yeah.
I remember when I was talking about shoes. I remember
in the middle
when
of
I
a
was
winter
younger.
storm here, and I'm like, fuck, I'm cold. I'm trying to do the designer thing, but I'm still cold.
Nice.
That's
look at those shoes.
Those are so cool. Those are nice.
And yet, if you look at them, the sole, it does have some stitching, but this is a somewhat rubber sole.
And that's not the point, though. It's the difference from what I see, and Miguel can compare, is that we used to have rubber soles before versus, not rubber soles. It's not only wooden soles that would be stitched. We would get the rubber soles, but it was the amount of glue that we would have in the bottom of our shoes that before we knew it, they would come undone, and we're like, what the fuck is this? This never happened before.
It's a different quality. That's the funny thing. Right now, for example,
that's from my collection. Just throwing it out there.
Those are nice.
This is the regular classic Adidas.
Run DMC, okay.
Yeah. This kind of sneaker, the old ones, the one from the 80s, the quality is way better. They look the same, but the way they made it by that time is way better than this one.
Yep.
This one is not the same quality as the old one. And it's the same Adidas shoe. It's just not the same quality.
Yeah. Talking about the shoes, I remember when I was younger, my dad used to buy his shoes, right? He used to love floor sheen shoes.
The floor sheen, yeah. My grandfather
He
was the
would
same way.
wear them to death.
Yep.
He would wear them to death. Thus, he would replace the heel. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if the heel wore down, he would take it to the shoemaker. They would put a new heel on it. If the sole got messed up, it got thin, he would take it. They would put a brand new leather sole on the shoes. Eso no tenía muerte.
So
And
those
you
were
could
That
come
was
in,
common, right?
quality.
they
Mm-hmm.
were quality, and he would buy shoes, I don't know, maybe once every 10, 12 years. He would just keep repairing them because he could. And the leather of the shoe was in perfect condition.
Hmm.
Ahora no, ahora tiene que botarlo.
Yeah,
And
well,
lots of
Even the
times,
it's
leather
not the same quality.
even
lots
the
of
leather
times
piece.
the sneakers that are the quote unquote cheap sneakers are actually the better quality ones. When Reebok pumps came out, there was a bootleg company called Lynx,
Hmm.
and I had a pair of the pumps, and I had a pair of the Lynx. Besides the fact that the Lynx lasted me like 5 years, 6 years,
Wow.
they
Back
lasted
in
me
the
a
day.
long ass time. The pump would actually fill up where you needed it for your ankle. It wasn't just there just
Okay.
for looks. It actually worked.
It was
See,
functional. It was functional.
And the sole ran out before any toes were popping out.
mm,
Wow.
Yet you're comparing $80 to $100 sneakers, pumps, to $30 that I paid for the Lynx. And
yeah.
like Kmart or some shit like that.
Right.
So lots of times, which is why I say knowing the craft will help you be a better consumer. Because
Yes.
you'll know enough to be like, well, why are you gonna grab those? Those are worth only $20. It's like, okay, hold on. They're asking $20. They're worth a lot more. I'm gonna have these sneakers while you're still wondering, fuck, man, I gotta do something extra. I gotta go on a hustle because I need some kicks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mine are still kicking, bro.
See,
You know?
that's where being
Remember,
wise
outlets.
comes in.
Outlets, yeah. But that's another thing. When you go to the outlets, you also got to be careful. You become a more aware consumer because they also sell you things that are almost, misfits. It didn't pass the inspection, but it's still good
Exactly.
enough to get there. So you still have to know what to look for. And there's
Mhm.
nothing more annoying. Me personally, I have my feet are horrible to my shoes because of my pinky toe that always pokes a hole through that one shoe. I have that one pinky toe that will break, and Joey can attest to it. That's how I broke all of my shoes. It's in the same area because I broke that toe when I was 18, and that's it. That's like my monster. That's the She-Hulk toe. So it breaks. So I have to wear my shoes to make sure that they're comfortable enough for me because I'm a huge baby when it comes to my feet.
Mhm.
I don't believe in wearing uncomfortable shoes or breaking in shoes just because they look good. I believe that shoes are supposed to fit your feet the first time, and they're supposed to
Well,
be.
that's something that's
I
uncommon
agree with you.
nowadays. People buy because it looks like X or Y. If it
No.
hurts me, if it fucks me up, I don't care. I think I'm looking fly. I'm not
Exactly.
even gonna say I'm looking fly. I think I'm looking fly, so that's enough for me.
No thanks.
No, no. I agree
Just
with
one second.
Sandy. It either fits me perfect the
Ven,
first
bebé.
time or I'm not taking it. I don't care si me los
Exactly.
regalan. No los quiero porque no me sirve. They're not comfortable.
Hey. Oh, qué
It's back.
lindo.
It's back again.
Oh, qué
Hi,
lindo.
sweetie.
With a hoodie.
He keep
With
knocking
the
on the door.
Adidas hoodie.
Oh,
Qué lindo.
Adidas.
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 I
I love
Go
it.
ahead.
I hope Marisa's watching this. If not, she's gonna die when she does see it.
He
So
loves.
yeah, so once
to
again,
have the
it
dresses.
pretty much boils down to being a good consumer.
Yeah.
Similar to, let's say, cigars. A lot of people be like, oh yeah, I like these cigars. They're Honduran cigars. Okay, just because they say Honduran cigars doesn't mean that it's completely from Honduras. That happens actually mostly in Puerto Rico,
Mhm.
believe it or not. These are Puerto Rican cigars. They say they're Puerto Rican because they're assembled
In Puerto
in
Rico.
Puerto Rico, but the wrapper is from Ecuador and the filler is from Dominican Republic.
Correct.
But since it arrived to Puerto Rico and you cured it and rolled it, it's a Puerto Rican. It's not the same as I never mastered the art, because it's an art of it, of curing the tobacco and aging it for a cigar. Yet I've made cigars. And I've spoken to people about that, specifically in the Gritolares, and I've had people offer me $8 to $10 for one cigar that was already lit.
Yeah, I remember. I was
just
there.
Because everything from the wrapper to the binder to the filler was grown on the island.
Yeah,
making it a pure Puerto Rican cigar.
Del patio.
Del patio, que estaba todo el mundo loco.
Yeah.
I had one, Pop had one, and Gordo had one. Those were the only 3 cigars we took with us. And they were trying to buy it in every fucking corner. In every single corner.
You could smell the difference. It was nice.
But knowing the process helps you become a better consumer. And knowing what consumers want will actually help you become a better artist.
Yeah.
I believe. You have to know your market to know what product you're going to put out there.
See.
You know, like if there's jazz, something that's a lot of instruments, a venue, and they want me to perform there, I know I'm going to have to go acoustic. I'm going to have to go with a live band. I'm going to have to funk this up, because funk will be the medium between the jazz and the rock. Funk just happens to be in that funky spot in the middle of everything and be part of everything and yet be its own thing.
That's what they call it.
Which is why funk and hip hop go hand in hand.
See.
Yeah.
But if it's a reggaetonero venue, I know I don't have catalog for that shit, so I'm not even going to go. You have to know the market. And I think that's something that a lot, not just designers and brands and stuff like that, and artisans, they're forgetting or they're ignoring. You have to play to your audience. You know, most of the time when people pay a ticket to see Paul McCartney, they don't want to hear Wings. They want to hear the Beatles.
Okay.
It's like that, you know?
So here's I got a question for Miguelo. What got you into buying so many sneakers? Because that's giving me anxiety.
I love it. I just like it. You know, at some point I can say some of these sneakers I don't even wear it because they are, like you say, uncomfortable. But I like the style. I like to see it. I like just to see it and watch how they look.
Are they all your size?
I'm sorry?
Are they all for you? Or are they all your size sneakers, or do you have different sizes?
I have a couple that belong to my wife, but majority are mine. You know, I have right now I have 100 something pairs. It's not that many because I know some people who have thousands of sneakers, but
yeah,
that's something crazy. And even right now, 100 something pairs, I think is way too much for me. Sometimes I just thinking about getting rid of some sneakers, you know. But it's just the love of see it, you know, how they look, how they be made, the history behind the sneaker. You know, it's like, for example, this is not a sneaker, but
I thought he was selling the sneakers.
you
the
see,
Kango.
I know you love this.
Yeah.
I love this because I have this hat for, I can say 20 years.
Wow.
But it's my hat. It's something that I don't wear it anymore, but I still love how they made it, how, you know, the history behind. You know, I have history with my hat, but also there's a history behind my hat. You know, at some point, Kango didn't want the hip hopper to use it. They hate the hip hopper to use the Kango, but the people who made the Kango big, it was the hip hop.
Yep.
You know, and the big fashion house had that issue at the beginning. They didn't want anybody who represent hip hop wearing his stuff, his brand. Now they love, you know, the reggaetoneros, the rappers, whoever, to wear their brand because it's money.
It brings
But
them
back
money
in the days, they don't want that. They
Mm.
didn't want something like that.
because they were afraid of what it represented. It did not. They didn't understand the representation behind it, so they were like, "Oh, I don't want to be associated with that. That I don't want
Right.
that."
Exactly.
Like Tommy Hilfiger. Tommy Hilfiger didn't want the hip hop heads to, if he knew that all of those people would be, he wouldn't have designed it because he was afraid of the representation of it. But once the hip
His
hop industry,
financial conscience kicked in.
exactly,
These guys are going platinum. That's 1 million copies sold. That's at least 1 million people who are gonna want to buy our shit.
that's correct.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what, that's what changes things. It's just like, oh yeah, but that now it's a household name. Hip hop is a household name. Now I don't even associate myself with hip hop in the sense of not today's hip hop. What
Mhm.
you call hip hop and what I call hip hop are two different genres, right? And I'll talk
Mhm.
to my kids and I'll tell,
Exactly.
because I teach a lot of young kids and I'm like, baby, what you call hip hop and what I call hip hop are two different things. What you talking about? When you tell me what you're referring to, then I'll tell you yes or no, because we have two different understandings of it.
Exactly. Mhm.
So, but I just find it interesting that you have over 100 sneakers, and it's because of the collection. So that's what you collect.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
Giancarlo, I
that's
agree.
what I love.
Nowadays it's hip hop.
Hip hop.
And yeah, you're right because I've been following hip hop since I don't know
We were born into it.
1982. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm 50. I'm 51. I
Okay.
follow hip hop since first time I heard Rapper Delight. But that's the funny thing. I didn't know that was hip hop.
No.
I was thinking that was some new music. Sounds nice, but I don't know what the hell is that. I
Mm-hmm.
start following hip hop by listening to that music without even knowing what I was getting into. You know, it is what it is.
But isn't that how
Now
hip
these
hop
days,
got its name?
that's the thing.
There's
The
like 3
hip
or
hop
4 different stories that you can get about
exactly.
how it got its
It
name.
come way before that,
Mm.
but by that time I was like, I like that music. I don't even know what the hell is that, but I like it.
Okay.
I like to dance. Hey, that's it. Looked nice, electric boogie, break, whatever, lo que sea. It was nice, but I
Mhm.
didn't know how to call it.
Right.
It was just something that I love. It's the same at the beginning, and you know that the sneakers and the sneakers, hats, all this fashion, old school fashion. It was something that we were we were following it, but
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
we didn't even know what we were getting into.
Creating. Mm-hmm.
I remember in the back in the days, I used to get somebody like right now your mother to say, "Hey, can you make this for me? Because I don't know where to get it, but I like this. Can you make this for me?" And that was our fashion. Get somebody who can make that stuff we
With,
saw on MTV or whatever place.
Oh my
with
goodness,
your own
mom! How many
flavor.
times have you heard that?
I just saw the MC Hammer pants I made you and Federico.
The licras, NC Hammer pants, all that stuff. It was like that. Hey,
Yeah.
Reversible hoodies, sweatpants. It was
The
all
the
game.
backpacks,
and
the backpacks.
that
You
tore
remember?
apart at the sides.
Yeah, the breakaway pants.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
that was the way to get into the fashion, the hip hop fashion. It was, hey, somebody who can make this?
And that was
Yeah.
it. So
That,
do
that was
you
one of the
think
reasons why I always liked Busta Rhymes, because Busta Rhymes designed most of
yeah, and he was
his
very good
costumes in the
at
videos.
designing it. Yeah.
So
So do
that's
you think that
yeah.
there's a link between music and fashion
Oh yeah, definitely.
as
Yeah.
far as trends are concerned? Like the trending
Yeah.
of the music is always going to push the fashion.
Entertainment and fashion. I don't think you could say just me. I mean, hello, Audrey Hepburn, $900,000. She was probably dead when they auctioned that thing off.
Yeah,
Probably.
probably she was already dead by then. And you have certain celebrities that will create a trend and then it'll move on from there.
One they found in an estate auction. One, no, it is the last of the original zoot suits.
Oh,
And all they found were the pants, the pachucos, is that you would call them?
Uh-huh.
The pachucos, the original suspenders, which the suspenders is what helped them date how
Wow.
old it is. And then they got into like the material and everything else. No jacket, no, nothing. It was just the suspenders and the pants. They dated it. It's the last that they know of the era zoot suit pants. They don't
Wow.
exist anymore except for those pants.
Wow.
70, it was either 72 or $75,000.
for a pair of
Wow.
pants and suspenders.
Because it's the last one.
The last
Wow.
one.
But
Yeah.
I know I get it and I can understand the value behind it, but ultimately in summary, it's a pair of pants and suspenders.
I find it cool
Yeah.
because it's like somebody looked at it and go, oh yeah, this was made in 1952. Well, how the fuck do you know? Well, look at the stitching. There's only 7 per square inch instead of 8 per square inch, making it that's kind of an obvious thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
somebody like me will be like, are you fucking kidding right now? The pants whisperer?
It's just a piece of history.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
It's just
the
that.
last piece of that particular history.
That's what I love
Mhm.
about thrift shops is that I love buying clothes from thrift shops
Me.
because there were a couple of dresses. I'm still looking for that dress. I had bought this dress from La Iglesia de la Milagrosa en la 107 off the corner of Crash Boat. They used to open up their thrift shop and they used to sell us clothes. She says, Mira, the more you buy, the cheaper it's gonna be. Because if I would come out with one piece of clothing, I would probably spend $1. But if I come out with 5 or 10, I probably spend a quarter each piece of each article of clothing.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I'm talking about full, beautiful, handmade dresses
I'll be
that
right
I
back, guys.
know were done in the 60s. You know what I mean?
But
Like these things
that
in
is
the
still is
60s.
history. Mhm.
Exactly. There's this one beautiful turquoise dress that I loved wearing, and it was like an A dress. It had the mock turtle around the neck, and it had completely cut off. But because I don't like sleeves at all, anything that it's cut off is just like I'm happy without sleeves. So it had the complete cut off, and then and it had a beautiful A-line dress. It was gorgeous. And you can tell that it was handmade. They did not buy this at the store. It was handmade,
Sí.
but it was well made. I bought that bitch for 50 cents.
Mira para allá.
I was happy.
Mira para
I
allá.
bought it for 50 cents and I was so happy with that dress. So me personally, I'm a big thrifter. I
Mhm.
love going into thrift shops and they're like, ay, pero nena, you bought clothes that was used by somebody else. Mira, para eso tú tienes lavadora en tu casa. Go
Exacto.
wash
But
clothes.
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Who knows? Maybe the real value is way different than what you think.
Different.
You know what you pay for.
Exactly. So you
Miguelo,
bought
quick question. There was an accident. Somebody spilled a little bit of Kool-Aid on, and a drop fell on one of the sneakers.
Mhm.
You grab the sneakers and you wash them. Did you automatically lose value?
Here's the
Because like
thing.
coins, people think, oh wow, I found the old coin. This is worth money. Let me clean it. You done fucked up.
Yep.
You done took off like 20% of its value right there. Déjalo con moho, con mierda, with spit, snot, crack vials, whatever the fuck is on it. Déjalo, because that lets the collector know it's
Genuine.
Mhm.
it's genuine,
Yes.
it's history. You
The
know,
problem is, it's like cars, bicycles. It's the same thing. It depends because a sneaker, if you clean the sneaker in a way that you can go back to the original way, just by cleaning, not not remaking the sneaker, just clean it. Yeah, it works. But if you clean the sneaker and you mess it up by cleaning it, you're gonna take off the value. And
Mhm.
in that case, you need sometimes special brushes, special liquids, to actually clean the sneaker. It's the same as any shoe. It's the same as dresses. You have to be careful with whatever you do when you try to clean something. You know, it's just that.
But then it also depends on who dropped it on the who stained the sneaker. If it was an actor or a singer, you know,
if Elvis Presley dropped his beer on my shoe,
that's worth even more.
I'm not cleaning that bitch because it came from Elvis's lips because he shaked his hips and it ended up on my shoe. Come on.
I'm shaking my head because you're absolutely fucking right.
Oh no, yeah. If you have a way to prove it's legit, it's valid.
All in the proof is in the pudding. That's right. You got to be able to certify that it's true.
Guys, we hit an hour and a half. This show is pretty much over. Yeah, this was fantastic.
Wow.
Mom, thank you for coming through. Sandy, thank you for helping always. Miguelo, my brother, thank you so much. Miguelo, you got something coming up, right? Don't you?
Oh yeah, next week we're gonna do actually a podcast. Is gonna be about the normal syndicate. You know, our old hip hop thing. We're gonna be talking about kind of different things about the syndicate, and you know the deal because you are part of this. You know, you are part of all this craziness. You know.
I gotta play humble and neutral because of the journalism, so that's why I didn't say anything.
But you know the deal; you are part of it.
But plug it, Miguel. Plug it.
So when's that gonna be?
Well, to be honest, I have to double check the time. If I'm not wrong, it's between 8:30 next week. That's the thing. I trying to check because I'm not 100% sure. The time we're supposed to get together tonight to put together the time.
Okay.
As soon as I get that, I'll let you know.
Would that be standard Eastern time, Atlantic, and Puerto Rico? Okay, standard
Eastern time.
Okay, just because we have viewers from Puerto Rico, we have viewers in Texas, we have viewers in all different parts of the U.S. So we want to just make sure that in case they're interested in seeing it, that they can go ahead and check it out as well.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
All right.
And everybody out there, we're still working on next week's episode.
Any advice?
Right. Well, we got quite a few ideas. And the week after that is Black Book Tactics.
Again?
This is becoming a favorite. So get your pencils, your papers, your markers, your Crayola.
I was seeing that thing the other day. I was watching your podcast, a couple of podcasts about black books, graffiti, and all that. They are something else.
Yeah, they're fantastic. The guys do great. I just love it. The last time we got so into it, we forgot. Me personally, I forgot I was doing a podcast, and I was so into what I was drawing that I went, "Oh, guys, we're here." But I forgot that we were on the podcast. We were live because you just get so into it. So I'm gonna try to be better. Maybe I'll kind of change the medium. You guys do your black book while I paint something because I've just been fiending for some paint. So maybe hopefully you guys can.
That's the funny thing. I love drawing. I love to draw. I love to paint, but I suck at graffiti. I'm not good. Too. I can make a really nice painting. A drawing, painting, whatever. I can do it, but graffiti.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not able.
Watch the podcast and you'll get it. You'll get it real soon. And
it's getting
keeping that same format, I would like to eventually have Mom do a sewing segment for us.
Yeah,
the whole Torre del Viejo family here. That would be fantastic.
I need that. Let me show you something.
Where'd you go?
I don't even know how to use it. I want to learn. Look.
Oh yeah. Wait. Let me see it again. Let me see it again.
That looks like the one that we got.
It does look like the one we got. Oh, that's fully digital.
That's nice.
So I don't know how to use it, but I want to learn.
You know what? Before we close, that's really good. That's a good thing to close with. Mom, what should a person look for when they're looking for a sewing machine? And we can close up with that because that's like beautiful right there.
Okay. Don't get anything too complicated.
What would be complicated?
Okay.
Because for somebody who doesn't know, just by looking at it, it's automatically fucking complicated.
Yeah. Well,
This is complicated
it
right now.
shouldn't have that. It shouldn't have that many instructions to turn it on. If you need a computer to turn it on, it's too complicated for me.
Okay.
Okay, for me,
Anything
it's
that
too
says
complicated.
Wi-Fi is a no-go.
No go. No. Okay, something simple. You plug it in. You turn on the switch. Because they always have an on-off switch. Many stitches, embroidery stitches are good. But if it's got way like 100, 200 stitches, and you need the computer, that's too complicated.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
100 something stitches.
Wow.
Wouldn't that already be for like embroidering things or?
Yeah,
That's
because
what
they
he's
do
saying. That
embroidery. They do embroidery stitches like the zigzag, and they do the hem stitch. That's good. That's a standard in the sewing machine.
Because certain stitches are for certain things, so it can hold more. You need more
Exactly.
strength on the side of the jeans than on the inside. So
See,
inside the leg is going to be one type of stitching. On the outside is going to be a
well,
double.
no. The stitching is the same. As far as the inside, the outside, it would be for the finishing. Like a zigzag stitch gives you. It's actually a zigzag, and it finishes the edge of the material so that it doesn't unravel.
So is it a visual thing or a structural thing? The
What?
stitching.
The stitching, it's both.
The
Because you could
finishing. That's what you called it, the finishing?
the finishing, yeah, it's both. It's both because you can see it and you can actually touch it and see whether the material is together, it's held together, the edges, or if the edges, each one is going a separate way. This is your front and this is your back. That's not finished. It should be zigzagged, or it should have a double seam so that they don't open up. And this way
See,
you
that's
have
another show.
this way
That's
you
another
have a
show.
stronger
No
seam.
kidding.
This way
So
you have
how
a
many
stronger seam, it won't
basic
come apart.
stitches would you want in a machine? Like if it has 10, it probably has the standard one, so you're good with that.
Yes, 10 would be the standard. You can have 25,
Yeah.
and that'll give you a couple of embroidery stitches that you can probably use. They give you a buttonhole, how to make a buttonhole. That's a standard.
Is there a certain voltage, wattage, or I don't know if it goes by horsepower or something like that?
No. Most of them are usually what's the normal? A 110 is the normal wattage.
110 is the normal wattage.
So the machines don't come in strengths?
No.
As far as duty is concerned, I know that you have the heavy duty ones, so like the ones that work with leather, that works against more tapestry and stuff like that than it is for, which is a completely different
Those
kind
would
of
be
sewing.
industrial.
The industrial ones, yeah. So
Yeah,
that
those
would be
like-
just
So
the
it's regular, then heavy duty, then industrial?
Yeah.
I guess. So it's
Yeah.
not so much the wattage as it is the mechanics behind how the machine is made.
Exactly. Because if you have something that is very light, a lightweight machine where it just does the basic, it may not accommodate jeans. Some jeans are very, very strong denim. It may not accommodate leather, suede. My machines are I guess you could say lightweight. I can't do leather on them.
Okay, so piggybacking on being a good consumer, should the box say all these things, what it can go through? And
yeah, they usually do. They usually tell you what stitches are on there, and from that you can tell. Basically, they won't tell you.
Miguel está chequeando.
No,
Sometimes they'll say. Sometimes they will tell you.
I'm looking at this guy right now.
No, it doesn't sell dog.
No.
Starter project, making something for your dog. It kind of inspires you to get something done. You want to make something cute, and once you've made the first one, that's it. Then you're gonna be making yourself one, and you're gonna have matching outfits for you and your dog, and then that's it. Te perdiste por ahí para abajo.
Lo
And
perdimos,
that's
lo
the crazy
perdimos.
thing. I like to get into everything. I love, I had right now a cricut maker. I have
Oh,
You
the
know,
crickets! I
like to,
love the crickets.
yeah,
I can't wait to get
it's
one too.
something that you can, keep
Yeah.
just doing stuff,
He's a
whatever.
crafter at heart.
Nah, he's what they call the Renaissance, and that's something that's coming back. We see the need for it, especially because of the pandemic. People realize that they lost a lot of skills, that they depend a lot on other people to get some very basic things, and it's something that needs to be revisited. So I think that that's also another opportunity. Maybe we could do it on the Apple on the Desk. What should be brought back to school as far as basic needs and stuff like that,
Home
and why?
economics.
Yeah,
They never should
why
have
it's
taken
not
home
in there.
economics out.
No, home economics should have been there, should have stayed. Same
Yeah.
thing, and yes, now we're trying our hand on blacksmithing and
Okay.
forging.
Oof.
There's a lot going on in this household, so. But guys, I think we should wrap it up because we're nearing the second hour.
Okay.
This was absolutely fantastic. I want to
It
thank
was.
everybody on the panel. Yes,
It
Miguelo.
I want to get into that. I want to be listening to that program when she start talking about all this sewing. I want to be there because I want to learn.
Well, you
Okay.
know what? Not just us that are here on the panel, but everybody who's watching us either live or in the future, whenever you watch this, let us know. We are trying to pressure Mrs. Carmen Quiñones, aka Mom, to actually set up a
That way.
good podcast. Yes, but esta.
Yeah, I was.
We want to set up a podcast segment with her to see if we can bring all of that sewing back.
So we want to call it the So What segment.
Oh, that sounds good. So what?
Which is your brand.
It's your brand, Carmen.
I know.
Okay, well, we want to call it.
And I still say all your elegant luxury stuff should be the Q collection.
Oh,
that shit sounds dope.
You're very marketable.
Okay, I like that one. I tried to get the GQ Gutierrez Quiñones, but
no,
I couldn't get it. They was like, no, that's taken. You can't have it.
So what? And the Q collection. That's it. We got it right there. So
all
everybody right. Have a great night. My panelists, don't go anywhere. I see you in just a moment, still in the studio. Everybody else, thank you for tuning in. Miguel,
bye, everybody.
Thank you. Sandy.
Woohoo.
Mom, there you go. And Joey Zaza. This is Torre del Viejo. Peace.